Are you taking her ladyship with you to Lahas in hopes of begetting an heir? Sauveur asked. Zachary remained composed, but Bianca's words echoed in his mind, causing a rare flush to creep up his face. That's not something I wish to discuss. The trip has nothing to do with that, he replied, looking visibly flustered. Sauveur sipped his tea quietly, taking in the charged atmosphere. Did I say something wrong? His lordship is intimidating when he's upset. I should stop asking. Robert, wiping his mouth with a handkerchief, shifted the conversation. So, that's what you discussed with her ladyship? She'll be accompanying you to the capital in the spring? No, that wasn't it, Zachary corrected. I only spoke to her about leaving soon. Robert blinked. Pardon? Should I inform her then? I thought it wasn't urgent, since we're not departing immediately. Zachary hesitated, and the three knights exchanged glances, tension rising. Her ladyship might not want to go, they all thought. Why is he so confident she'll agree? Sauveur wondered. Unaware of Zachary's plans, Bianca recovered from her fever within a few days and began focusing on managing the household. At dawn, Vincent stood outside, holding the castle's records, waiting in the cold. Sorry I'm late, Vincent, Bianca's voice called from behind. He turned to see her wrapped in a thick sweater, accompanied by Yvonne and Gaspard. I didn't realize how much time had passed while getting ready, Bianca admitted. You've bundled up well. It's quite cold today, Vincent noted. Don't you think this is too much? Bianca asked. Not at all, madam. I didn't know you were so sensitive to the cold. If I'd realized, I would have gotten you more than just a fox fur coat that day, Yvonne said, looking regretful. Let's go, Bianca said, cutting her off as they set out. The countship of Arno was largely flatlands, with the castle built on one of its highest points. A dense forest and a river lay to the east. We're fortunate the land supports farming, husbandry, and forestry, Vincent explained. Bianca listened with a calm expression. I didn't care about Arno's geography in my past life, she thought. Her mind wandered back to that life, after Count Zachary had fallen in battle and she had been cast out by Viscount Hughes. Vincent had found her sobbing in the streets. Walk east for 10 days through the forest, and you'll reach land belonging to a household connected to Blanchefort, he had whispered. She had walked barefoot all day and night, cursing the vast land that now stretched before her. Back then, I loathed this place. But now, with a new resolve, I see how valuable it truly is. It's beautiful, she murmured, smiling. Yvonne, watching her, smiled as well. After explaining the geography, Vincent led Bianca to the seamstress's quarters, perhaps remembering her previous curiosity about the place. As they entered, hushed whispers reached Yvonne's ears. So that's the Countess? I heard she beat up a castle maid, Annie, and threw her out. They say she's scrawny and ugly, but she doesn't look that way to me. Annie's face was swollen like a loaf of bread after the beating. No wonder. She must be strong. Yvonne's eyes widened. They think Madame is big? She's just layered in thick clothes. Did she hear them? Bianca, however, appeared unfazed. She pointed to an embroidered fabric on display. Who worked on this, and how long did it take? I did, madame, a seamstress replied nervously. It took about 4 days, and I'm still finishing it. Come see me tomorrow, Bianca said, turning to leave. The other seamstresses stiffened, watching the nervous woman. Did I do something wrong? She wondered. Bianca's expression remained composed. That black-haired seamstress has skill. She works quickly, which means she'll be easy to teach. The next stops are the meat storage and chandlery, Vincent said. There's a chandlery in our territory? Bianca asked, intrigued. At the meat storage, Vincent explained, this is where we store salted meat for winter. Since we do our own slaughtering, we have plenty of animal fat. That's enough. Where's the chandlery? Bianca interrupted. Vincent pointed, and Bianca quickly headed inside. I never knew the candle-making workshop was this close, she thought. Candles had been precious in the abbey, rarely given out. I'll memorize the process. Inside, they watched a chandler at work. This is lard. The wick is repeatedly dipped in fat to form the candle. Try it, madame. Bianca took the candle and sniffed. This smells stronger than the ones in my room. The candles in your chambers and the dining room are high-quality beeswax, the chandler explained. Beeswax is rare and costly, mainly used by royalty or for religious ceremonies. His lordship ordered them for all rooms you frequent. Bianca pouted. So I've been burning expensive candles without realizing? Why didn't anyone tell me? I would have used them sparingly, she scolded. Madame, we only followed his lordship's orders, Vincent hurriedly assured her. That's enough for today. Let's head back, Bianca declared. Vincent was cold to me in my past life. I'll give him a hard time whenever I can, she mused. As they walked, Bianca accidentally kicked a wooden box. A muffled noise came from inside. What was that? She asked. Gaspard cautiously lifted the lid, revealing a frightened boy clutching a knife, his finger injured. Bianca's gaze hardened. Who are you? Nicola looked scared as Gaspard lifted him from the box, his small body trembling. Nicola? Why were you in there? The Chandler exclaimed. Yvonne immediately stepped in front of Bianca. Get behind me, madam, she said, shielding her. But why, Yvonne? Bianca stammered, surprised. Then, her gaze dropped to the small knife in Nicola's hand. Did someone urge this child to attack me? She thought, noting his shaking hands and wounded finger. My goodness, sir. This boy is the son of a fellow Chandler. He must have been hiding, afraid of getting scolded again. Please forgive him for holding a knife. It wasn't intentional, the Chandler pleaded. Nicola sniffled, tears welling in his eyes. Then again, with such a tiny knife, he wouldn't have been able to do much harm anyway, Bianca reasoned. Put him down, Sir Gaspard. His hand is injured. Yvonne, see to his wound, she instructed. Thank you. I'm very grateful, madame. I'll give him a stern talking to and make sure this doesn't happen again, the Chandler said with a bow as Yvonne examined Nicola's injury while Gaspard carefully set him on his feet. Anyway, what did you mean by his usual foolishness? What does he do when he's hiding? The Chandler sighed. Well, he carves into the candles so badly they become unusable. Bianca approached the box and was taken aback by what she saw, an intricately carved angel embedded in one of the candles. He ruins them? She asked, holding up the candle. Oh my goodness, why would he hack them up like that? Vincent exclaimed. I wasn't trying to ruin them. I was saving them. Nicola cried. In my dream last night, the divine told me they were trapped in the candles, suffocating. They asked me to set them free, so I carved into the candle until I rescued them. Bianca studied the carving. Has this child ever learned to sculpt? She asked. Of course not, the Chandler replied. His late father was a chandler and his mother is a maid. He was born into a poor household and will likely follow his father's trade, but instead he wastes time ruining candles. Vincent leaned in and whispered, Madam, a single real-life lesson is often more effective than endless lectures. That candle belongs to Arno. Using it for personal reasons is no different from theft. You must reprimand him harshly so he understands. Bianca turned to Nicola, her expression unreadable. The boy flinched, his mind racing. This is Madame Bianca, the one everyone talks about. I heard she beat a maid just days ago. What if she punishes me too? You, Bianca said firmly. Yes, madam, Nicola stuttered. I want you to come see me tomorrow, she said simply before turning away. Pardon? Vincent exclaimed. Madame, discipline is important. Are you listening? He hurried after her as they left. Nicola burst into tears. What do I do? I'm scared. The Chandler patted his back, trying to console him. Thus, Bianca's first day of household management lessons came to an end. The next morning, the two individuals summoned by Bianca arrived at the castle early, Nicola and the Seamstress. Both had the same thought. It's better to get scolded as soon as possible. As they stood at the entrance, they exchanged glances, realizing they had both been called. The castle doors opened. You two arrived at the same time. Welcome. I'll take you to her ladyship, Yvonne greeted them cheerfully. As they walked through the hallway, Nicola hesitated. Excuse me, thank you for treating my hand yesterday, he said. I washed your handkerchief, but it's still drying. I'll bring it later. You should thank her ladyship, not me. She's the one who told me to tend to your wound. The handkerchief is hers, Yvonne replied. Nicola looked startled. It is? Yes, her dresses don't have pockets, so I carry it for her. She also said she hopes your hand heals without scarring. She did, Nicola mumbled in disbelief. Of course, Yvonne said with a smile. As they turned a corner, another maid suddenly appeared and walked straight into Yvonne, knocking her down. Yvonne gasped, startled by the cold glare the maid gave her. Traitor, the woman muttered before walking past as if nothing had happened. Nicola and the seamstress stood frozen, sensing the tension. Yvonne quickly dusted herself off. Annette had many friends in the castle. The rumor that Madame Bianca was responsible for her dismissal must have spread. Are you okay? Nicola asked hesitantly, touching her shoulder. Yes, I'm fine. I should have been more careful, Yvonne said, forcing a cheerful tone. Let's go. Madame is waiting. You're early, Bianca said when they entered her study. I told you to see me sometime today, but I didn't expect you so soon. Both Nicola and the seamstress blinked in surprise. She looks completely different today, they thought, realizing she no longer had the thick coat from the previous day. Would you say you're a tight-lipped person? Bianca asked the seamstress, her tone serious. Yes, madame. I've always been told I'm quite reserved, the woman answered quickly. Good. You must not speak of the designs I'm about to show you until I give permission. I will teach you how to tat lace. Make as many as you can in a week, Bianca instructed, handing her a design. The seamstress took it with a bow, but her mind reeled. What's lace? Then Bianca turned to Nicola. He flinched. You've been using Arno's candles however you please, haven't you? She asked. Nicola paled. Vincent told me thieves lose a hand as punishment for their crime, Bianca continued. But considering your age, I'll give you a different punishment. Nicola trembled. A different punishment? Bianca opened a chest, revealing a collection of high-quality beeswax candles. Madam, these are... Nicola's voice trailed off in shock. You recognize them right away. You are a Chandler's son indeed, Bianca said. These are the finest beeswax candles. You may sculpt them as you like, but you must return the finished product to me. That is your punishment. Nicola's eyes widened. This isn't a punishment, madam. It's a reward. Why would you give something so precious to someone like me? I thought you'd throw me out of the territory. Bianca studied him for a moment before smiling slightly. Do you two know what an investment is? She asked. They shook their heads. It's when time and money are put into something to create value. That I want to invest in your talents, the very talents that allow you to make beautiful and valuable things. I plan to do business with those items, she said, leaning back in her chair with a knowing smirk. Lace, a beautiful, delicate fabric created by weaving threads together, would one day become a fashion staple across Sevron and its neighboring countries. It would be recorded in history that Arno was the birthplace of lace production, and the first master craftswomen were none other than the seamstresses taught by Countess Bianca de Arno herself. However, at the time, no one could have predicted that Arno would rise to such prominence. Vincent trembled as he scanned the budget Bianca had handed him. Madame, the amount of flax thread on this order, is this number correct? And what do you mean I'm to give that little Chandler boy all the beeswax candles he wants? He asked, his voice shaking. Bianca, unfazed, responded coolly. Didn't you see the candle Nicola carved? That was talent, I guarantee it. But isn't it too costly an item to give to a child as a mere plaything? Vincent protested. Bianca's gaze remained steady. Looking at expensive, beautiful things makes me happy. So that thought has never crossed my mind. As for the flax thread, give it to the seamstress. We'll need more in the future, so procure as much as you can. Her tone was almost cheerful. Then, without another word, she shoved Vincent out of the room and shut the door behind him. Standing outside, Vincent wiped his eyes as they welled with tears. Madame's spending habits are reverting, back to heavy, heavy, heavy. He sniffled, bracing himself for the financial headache to come. In the maid's quarters, Yvonne frantically tried to put out the flames on her coat. What do I do? This is the only winter outfit I own, she muttered, staring at the burnt fabric. Nearby, two maids sneered at her. You should have taken better care of your things. Guess she didn't realize this could happen to her. If she's going to betray a colleague, she should at least have some wits about her. She's obviously clinging to that nasty madam, because she's a dullard, one of them laughed. Yvonne remained silent, their words sinking in. Considering how Madame tires of things so quickly, she'll probably cast Yvonne aside before long. Just wait and see, the other maid added with a smirk. Yvonne studied the coat in her hands. I don't think I can fix this. I have no choice but to throw it away. A maid standing beside her spoke hesitantly. Yvonne, I'm sorry. You've been going through so much, and I haven't been able to help. I mean, I was the one who brought the switch and fetched Butler Vincent that day. I know you're staying by Madame's side because she reminds you of your sister, but being treated like this, it's awful. She held out her coat. Please, wear mine. You might catch a cold. Yvonne smiled and shook her head. No, I'm fine. You have to work in the hallway all day today. Being healthy is my specialty. I can handle a bit of cold weather. Later, as Yvonne stood outside with Bianca, she couldn't hide her shivering. Your clothes seem to be getting thinner by the day, Bianca remarked, noticing her discomfort. I was clumsy and burned one of my outfits. But don't worry, madam. I've never caught a cold before, Yvonne assured her, despite her obvious chills. Bianca considered her for a moment. Come to think of it, remember that gray squirrel fur coat I bought a while back? I haven't worn it in some time. Oh, I'm sure it's still around, Yvonne said. But you have the sable coat, which is far more luxurious. It suits you better. Bianca nodded. Exactly. That means I won't be wearing the squirrel coat anymore. Would you take it off my hands, Yvonne? Yvonne flinched in surprise. Me, madame? I also bought a fox fur coat this year. Well, Bianca continued. You may wear the squirrel coat or discard it. Do as you like, but I'd prefer if you wore it. I want you to stay in good health. Yvonne's heart pounded. Is she worrying about me? Her cheeks flushed with warmth. She grabbed the coat and quickly put it on. How does it look? She asked, her voice eager. Bianca studied her. It suits you. Is it uncomfortable? Too small? Not at all. It's so warm and comfortable. Yvonne beamed. Good. I wouldn't feel at ease otherwise, Estas. My maid should wear something of that quality at the very least. Bianca turned, ready to move forward. Come on. Vinny must be waiting. Yes, madam, Yvonne chirped, following closely behind. Madam called me her maid. I'll cherish this coat forever. Gaspard, observing silently, thought to himself, it looks good on her. When they met Vincent, Bianca asked, Where are we touring today? The pastures, madam, he replied. Pastures? You let the sheep graze in the winter? They're given hay harvested in the fall, but the horses graze all year round. His lordship ordered it. He wants them raised to withstand the harshest cold. So Arno's horses are sturdy stock. That's good to hear. Bianca's thoughts darkened. If I ever get cast out of the castle again, I'll make sure I have a horse before I leave. She clenched her dress as they walked uphill. Why am I even thinking like this? I promised I wouldn't get thrown out this time. But old habits die hard. Madame, look over there, Vincent suddenly pointed. Bianca followed his gaze and was taken aback. Across the field, horses galloped freely. At the forefront, guiding them with effortless control, was Zachary. The Count? Is he herding the horses himself? He should have just ordered the lower-ranking knights to do it. And what is he doing with his shirt undone in this freezing weather? Bianca's steps slowed as she watched him. Zachary moved as if he and the horses were one, his focus unshaken by the biting cold. She found she couldn't take her eyes off him. He looks so free. Oh, how I envy that freedom of his, she thought, her face flushing. As Bianca watched Zachary skillfully managing the horses, she recalled his words. Arno Castle belongs to both of us. But she knew that wasn't true for her yet. She was only beginning to learn household management, while Zachary had been running the territory for years. What she felt in that moment wasn't just envy, it was an inferiority complex. Meanwhile, in the stables, Sauveur greeted the horses cheerfully, brushing them while avoiding the cold outdoors. He doted on a young pony, jokingly warning it to be picky about its future mate. His laughter came to an abrupt stop when he noticed Bianca and her group watching him. Embarrassed, he stumbled back. I'll pretend I didn't see that, Bianca said flatly, moving past the awkwardness. As they toured the stables, a horse suddenly licked Yvonne's face, startling her into Gaspard's arms. Blushing, she quickly steadied herself. Bianca then took note of the horses remaining in the stable and inquired about Arno's cavalry. Vincent explained how Zachary had invested heavily in war horses, earning ridicule from other nobles, until he defeated them in battle and seized their horses. Impressed, Bianca suddenly asked, Would it be possible for me to ride one of these horses? Sauveur and Vincent were stunned. Madame, war horses aren't ordinary steeds. They're highly sensitive and can react aggressively to unfamiliar riders, Vincent cautioned. You'll need his lordship's permission for riding lessons. Bianca sighed. I have to get his permission for something so trivial? Fine, I'll ask him. As she stroked the young pony, she added, If I do get permission, I suppose I'll be seeing you often, Sauveur. Then, with a soft smile, she murmured to the pony, "I'll see you again, little friend," before leaving. Still in shock, Sauveur turned to Robert. "I always thought she was cold and difficult, but she was kind to the horses. She even asked to ride a war horse." His eyes gleamed. "I think I'm smitten. I like confident women." Robert stared at him, baffled. That night, Yvonne warmed Bianca's bed before bidding her good night. As soon as she left, Bianca nestled into the warmth, half drying her hair as she admired lacework made by her seamstress. Sleep crept over her. A soft knock stirred her awake. Before she could react, someone was gently drying her damp hair. "When I was a child, Jean used to do this." "Who?" She turned groggily and found Zachary beside her, towel in hand. Her heart skipped a beat. "Darling, what are you doing here?" Their eyes met, both flushed in the dim candlelight. Bianca was stunned to see Zachary in her room at such a late hour. "Why is he here?" she wondered. The only time this happened in her past life was when she turned 21. Did he finally change his mind because I kept bringing up an heir? Determined to seize the moment, her cheeks flushed as she boldly grabbed him by the shirt, pushing him onto the bed and straddling him. Zachary blinked in surprise, watching her in amazement. "I did it!" "Now what?" she thought, her heart racing. She leaned forward, holding his face, their lips drawing closer. But suddenly, Zachary gently pushed her back and stood up. "I apologize for startling you," he said, scratching his head shyly. "I only came to ask you a question, but I saw you had fallen asleep with wet hair. I just wanted to dry it before you caught a cold." Bianca's eyes widened. "In my imagination, I was faster, but the Count is even quicker in real life," she thought, frustrated. She bit her lip in irritation before snapping, "What did you want to ask me at this late hour?" Zachary hesitated. "What do you think of Gaspard?" She frowned. "Why are you suddenly asking about him?" "Did you have any difficulties with him?" Bianca scoffed. "It's not like you'd withdraw your guard just because I'm uncomfortable. He stands out due to his size, but he's been doing a good job." Zachary crossed his arms, seeming displeased. "Why does he look so annoyed?" she thought. She then sighed and changed the topic. "I actually have a question for you, too. Will you sit next to me and listen?" After a pause, Zachary complied, though he sat with his back to her. Bianca cleared her throat. "I want your permission to learn horseback riding. The Blancheforts are a knightly household, and you're a knight too. Shouldn't a warrior's wife know how to ride?" Zachary glanced at her. "Riding is physically demanding. It would be difficult for you." Bianca bristled. "There he goes, treating me like a child again. You told me to let Vincent know if I wanted anything. And just because it's difficult doesn't mean it's impossible." Zachary considered this. "You're right. However, it's best to start in early spring. Ponies aren't easy to find in winter." "So, you'll get me a pony?" she asked eagerly. He nodded. "Yes, if you're willing to wait." Bianca beamed. "I did it! I convinced him." But then she quickly composed herself. I must look childish, she thought, glancing at Zachary's silent form. Does he dislike seeing me smile? Just then, Zachary spoke. "I'll be leaving for Lahas in late spring for Prince Albert's engagement ceremony. I'll also be away in the summer for the King's 50th anniversary celebrations. I likely won't return until fall or early winter." Bianca's heart sank. This is exactly what happened in my past life. He will die on the battlefield and I'll be left with nothing. Am I just going to repeat the same fate all over again? Lost in her thoughts, her eyes grew misty. "Bianca?" Zachary called, drawing her back to reality. She quickly wiped her eyes. "What is it?" Zachary hesitated before speaking. "I was going to ask you this before leaving, but I felt it wasn't right to decide for you. You've been busy lately, but would you like to accompany me to Lahas?" Bianca froze, staring at him in shock. If a person's heart had a shape, it would start as cold, unyielding glass. But since that night, Madame Bianca and his lordship's hearts had begun to take on a warmer hue, softening, changing, drawing closer. Shocked but determined, Bianca immediately accepts, realizing this is a rare opportunity she must seize. The next morning, Zachary discusses preparations with his knights, revealing Bianca's decision to join him. Vincent, the head butler, is surprised by her sudden break from household management lessons, though he is flattered when she entrusts him with the responsibility, calling him the king of household management. Meanwhile, some knights, particularly Sauveur, express interest in serving as her guard. Zachary, observing Sauveur's casual remarks about Bianca, appears irritated. Outside, Bianca remains busy with her project involving the seamstresses. Rumors spread among townspeople that she is neglecting her duties or simply indulging in gossip. But Nicola, a young boy working with Bianca, passionately defends her. At the seamstresses' workshop, the women excitedly discuss Bianca's generous treatment and the creative work they are doing. Nicola arrives with a beautifully carved candle and eagerly waits for Bianca to see it. Back in the castle, Bianca dozes off in her chair and dreams of a memory from her past life. In the dream, she hears a familiar voice calling her name. Turning around, she is stunned. It is Fernand, a man from her past. In Blanchefort Castle, young Bianca sat with her brother, dressed for marriage, as they observed her handmaiden, Jeanne, quietly weeping. "Why are you crying, Jeanne?" "Are you sad that Bianca is getting married?" her brother asked. Jeanne wiped her tears with a handkerchief. "I'm just upset. Lady Bianca, you could have married into a ducal household, but instead, you're marrying a destitute baron who only just acquired a title," she lamented. Before Bianca could respond, Count Blanchefort entered the room. Jeanne turned to him in frustration. "My lord, how could you arrange Lady Bianca's marriage like this?" she said, her voice shaking. The Count, undeterred, addressed his daughter. "Bianca, from this day forward, you are no longer a Blanchefort. You belong to the Arno household. A lord's wife never leaves her territory. She protects it, and she draws her last breath there. No matter what happens, do not think of returning to Blanchefort." His tone was firm. Bianca stood frozen, repeating her father's words in her mind. Memories of her past life surfaced, Zachary standing before her, his voice steady. "Now that you are part of House Arno, I will take responsibility for you. I can't offer the wealth and honor of Count Blanchefort, but I will care for you to the best of my ability." Soon, rumors began spreading in Arno. "Have you heard? They say his lordship has a mistress. That's why he and Madame Bianca haven't produced an heir. Some say she refuses him. Maybe it's because of the mistress? She's too immature. She married young and doesn't know how to run a household. Besides, she's so frail. How many children could she even bear? She spends his lordship's hard-earned money like water. What makes her think she can protect him?" The whispers stung. Alone in her room, Bianca clenched her dress. "The Count stays with me only out of duty, the night before he leaves for battle, but he loves another," she thought bitterly. "That's right, Bianca," a familiar voice had once whispered to her. "He loves another woman. So why can't you love another man?" Fernand had embraced her in her loneliness. "I will take away your sorrow. Just give in to this feeling. Love me, Bianca." In her dream, she saw him again. He reached for her, but this time she shoved him away. "Let go of me." "Love you?" Her voice trembled with anger. "You said you would embrace my loneliness. But where were you when I was cast out of Arno?" Her hands balled into fists. "You asked me to give myself to you, and I did. But when I lost everything, when I needed you most, you abandoned me." Fernand remained calm, taking her hand. "Bianca, I thought you found solace in me." She pulled her hand away. "I did. I made the mistake of believing someone loved me, that I loved them too." Looking back, she realized her mistake. "I should have done my duty, even if the Count loved another. If I had known I'd lose everything over something as fleeting as love, I never would have let myself fall." As she mumbled in her sleep, a warm hand touched hers, pulling her back to reality. She opened her eyes, tears clinging to her lashes. "Bianca, are you unwell?" Zachary's familiar voice broke through her haze. His face, filled with concern, hovered over her. She blinked. "The Count? How long has he been here?" she thought. "He always appears when I'm struggling, but he never gives me what I want the most." "It's nothing," she murmured, drying her eyes. "What brings you here, my lord? Would you like to take a stroll with me?" They walked outside the castle. Zachary's strides were long, and Bianca struggled to keep up. For crying out loud, is he showing off his long legs? She thought irritably, quickening her pace as she gathered her dress. They barely knew each other. Their past interactions had been distant. To her, he had always seemed imposing, reserved, almost cold. Suddenly, Zachary paused, glancing back at her. "Are we there?" she asked. "We need to go a bit further," he replied. "Then why did you stop?" She wondered, puzzled. When they resumed walking, she noticed something. His strides had shortened. Is he matching my pace? She thought, studying him. No, maybe he's just out of breath. At last, Zachary stopped, pointing ahead. We've arrived. Bianca followed his gaze. Her breath caught as she saw a white horse tied to a tree, calmly grazing. Is that? She asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Yes, the horse I promised you last winter. Her heart pounded as they approached. Hesitantly, she reached out, her fingers brushing the horse's snout. The creature remained still. She's so gentle, Bianca murmured, astonished. Zachary watched her reaction. I'm glad you like it. Just then, he reached forward, his hands resting gently on her shoulders. Bianca's face turned red. My lord, why are you suddenly so eager? Suddenly, he stepped forward, placing his hands on her waist. I'm gonna lift you, he said. What? Bianca barely had time to react before he gently raised her onto the horse's back. Startled, she clutched the reins. Not even my father bounced me in the air as a child, so why is my husband doing it, she thought. How is it? Is it too high? Are you scared? Zachary asked. She quickly composed herself. No, I'm not scared, she answered. That's good. I'll teach you how to ride starting tomorrow. Thank you, my lord, but I don't want to take up your precious time. I can ask Vincent to arrange a riding instructor, she said. Zachary's grip on her hands remained firm. You're not taking up my time. I want to teach you myself. I feel like I've missed out on too much over the years. Bianca's cheeks warmed. Very well. But my hands, when are you going to let them go? She asked awkwardly. He finally released her, glancing away. Once you're holding the reins properly, he said. Now, let's make a lap around the territory. As they rode, Zachary brought up her recent work. This lace project with the seamstresses, what is it exactly? It's a craft made from simple materials, but the final product is beautiful and valuable. It will spread beyond the continent and leave a great impact. She explained. A great impact? He echoed. How are you so sure? She tensed. Oops, the Count doesn't know the future, she thought. Oh, I don't know, but if it happens, wouldn't it benefit Arno? She hesitated before speaking again. If misfortune were to befall the people around me, I need my own power. I don't want to rely on a family name. I want to be strong as just Bianca. Zachary nodded. That's an excellent mindset for a knight's wife. She turned away, flustered. You don't need to praise me like that. Their conversation was interrupted when Marie called out. My lady, where did you get that horse? Marie asked, hurrying over with Nicola beside her. Zachary turned toward them. Marie paled. Oh, my lord, I apologize. I thought you were a groom, Bianca sighed. Why did they have to come now? Zachary lifted her off the horse gently. You should name her, he told Bianca. That's your first homework for your riding lesson. Then, without another word, he rode off. Bianca watched him go, her heart fluttering. This was her 20th spring, but somehow she knew this spring would be different. In the capital of Sevron, Lahas, a man and a lady shared a secret moment in a secluded garden. The lady let out a soft sigh as their lips parted. My husband will be looking for me, she murmured. Prince Jacob smirked, his hands wandering as he pulled her closer. Didn't I tell you to forget about your husband when you're with me? Just as he leaned in again, the lady suddenly tensed. Her gaze darted toward a figure in the distance, someone she didn't recognize. Alarmed, she quickly pulled away. Jacob, wait! She gasped before hurriedly leaving. Prince Jacob watched her retreating figure with mild amusement. So fast, he mused. I suppose I won't get to enjoy her for long. Too much of a scaredy cat. Unbothered, he turned to the man who had interrupted, completely indifferent to the lipstick marks still on his face. Did you find out anything about the matter I asked you to look into? Yes, Your Highness, the man replied. Zachary de Arno will be arriving in Lahas with his wife. His messenger confirmed it. Prince Jacob's lips curled into a knowing smile. The wife of the Count of Blood and Iron, coming to Lahas. He wiped the traces of lipstick from his cheek, his tone laced with intrigue. Something tells me this spring will be a little more interesting. At the time, the King of Sevron had 3 children. With the first queen consort, he had Prince Gautier and Princess Audelie, and with the second queen consort, he had Prince Jacob. Following Sevron's tradition of hereditary succession, Prince Gautier was widely regarded as the heir apparent. One day, Prince Jacob stood in a hallway, awaiting a guest. Your Highness Prince Jacob, Count Blanchefort greeted, entering alongside his son. It has been a while, Count Blanchefort, Jacob said with a smile. This is my son, Joachim, the Count introduced, and Joachim bowed politely. Jacob's gaze lingered before he spoke. I heard something interesting recently, Count. They say Count Arno will bring his wife to the capital this year. She is your daughter, is she not? The girl you married off to that old itinerant knight at 11? His words carried a hint of mockery. I recall my mother, a distant aunt of the Countess, was quite concerned about her marrying some obscure baron of no consequence. The Count tensed but remained composed. Those are harsh words, Your Highness, he said. Joachim, angered, started to speak, but was silenced by his father's gesture. I understand why Her Majesty was concerned, the Count continued, but that so-called obscure baron is now one of the few legendary heroes on the continent. With him serving Sevran, no kingdom would dare challenge us, even when Prince Gautier and his son take the throne. I see. I look forward to meeting this legendary hero, Jacob replied, smiling as he walked away. And, of course, the Countess as well, if I get the chance. Once alone, Joachim spoke angrily. Humiliating you with Bianca's name is an insult to our family, father. We may be in different factions, but does he not recall how my brother-in-law risked his life every time Aragon invaded? The Count remained thoughtful. Joachim, send a message to Arno. Tell them I wish to be the first to see Bianca when she arrives in the capital. Joachim's eyes widened. Truly, father? After all these years, you even forbade me from writing to her. She will be 20 now, a full-fledged noblewoman, the Count mused. If she takes after her mother, she must have grown into quite the beauty. Meanwhile, Bianca struggled through her horseback riding lessons. As she dismounted, her body trembled. Madam, are you all right? Yvonne asked nervously. Bianca winced. No, my thighs and rear are so chafed. I'm in so much pain. Losing her grip, she nearly collapsed, but Zachary caught her just in time. It was a good idea for you to take up horseback riding. In time, you'll gain strength and become healthier, he said, carrying her with ease. She sighed. My lord, put me down. I know I'm not light. You're not heavy at all. How could you be when all you eat in the morning is a handful of olives? He replied, startling her. What? That's only because I have no appetite in the morning. Also, who told you that? She protested, looking away. You'll naturally eat more as you spend time outside, he said, ignoring her protests and continuing to carry her. What will the servants think? She asked, flustered. You're exhausted. It's better for me to carry you than let you collapse, he said, unaffected by her resistance. Bianca frowned. Ugh, you're so stubborn. You do realize you're just as stubborn, right? He countered. Over time, Bianca's riding improved. You're doing well. Pull the reins slightly toward the direction you wish to go, Zachary instructed as he rode ahead. She followed his advice but noticed him glancing at her, making her cheeks flush. My lord, what are you thinking? She asked. I was wondering why you don't call me dear, he admitted. Bianca was stunned. What the heck? You remembered that? It's just dear like dear sir in a letter. It doesn't mean anything else, she hurriedly explained. Besides, we haven't even consummated our marriage. Zachary remained composed. I wasn't insisting. At the moment, I'm your riding instructor and you're my pupil. We can discuss titles later. She sighed but nodded. All right. You just watch, instructor. Isabel and I will bring you and Noah down a peg or two. Zachary chuckled. Oh? Is that a challenge? Bianca was taken aback by his sudden lightheartedness. When he smiles like that, he looks so youthful, she thought. I accept your challenge, he said, tapping her nose playfully. I look forward to that day. Rumors spread in Arno about Bianca's increasing involvement with the seamstresses and her supposed extravagance. However, new gossip also arose about the changing dynamic between Bianca and Zachary. Some even speculated that an heir might soon be expected. Around this time, Zachary received a letter from Blanchefort. The first time you received a letter from them was regarding your marriage to Madame Bianca. If I recall, this is only the second time, Vincent noted as he handed over the letter. Zachary read it. He wants to meet Bianca as soon as we arrive in Lahas. After all these years, why now? He folded the letter. I'll tell Bianca when the time is right. Keep this to yourself for now. As you wish, my lord, Vincent replied. Misunderstandings led to trouble. The day before their departure, Vincent watched anxiously as Bianca stood in front of the castle, anger evident in her expression. Madam, this isn't what you think, he began. Her hands trembled. What do you mean by that? We leave for Lahas tomorrow. When exactly were you planning to tell me about this? She demanded. As Zachary read the letter from Count Blanchefort, he found it surprisingly formal for a father requesting to see his daughter after so many years. He wondered if Bianca's brother, Joachim, had a similar demeanor to their father, and debated whether reuniting Bianca with her family was truly the right decision. Watching her from his window, he also found himself admiring her long, unbound hair, as riding lessons had been paused in preparation for their journey to Lahas. The castle was bustling with preparations, and Bianca, determined to bring an adequate wardrobe, had packed over 15 crates. When Vincent suggested reducing the number, she insisted she had already minimized it as much as possible. However, when she discovered that Zachary was only bringing 8 chests, she was baffled and even questioned whether Arno was facing financial troubles. Vincent assured her that was not the case, but she was unimpressed with Zachary's simple and outdated clothing. Declaring that the hero of Sevron should not dress like a country bumpkin, Bianca took matters into her own hands, deciding to overhaul his wardrobe. Vincent, overwhelmed by her determination, could only comply. Meanwhile, Zachary, overhearing the commotion, held back laughter at how even the steadfast Vincent struggled to keep up with Bianca. Later, Sauveur approached Bianca, requesting Zachary's old clothes if she planned to discard them. Amused by his eagerness, she allowed it, but after their conversation, she noticed Zachary watching her from the window. When their eyes met, he quickly withdrew, leaving her confused. In his office, Zachary sat with his face flushed, embarrassed by his own actions. He recalled how Bianca once feared even looking at him, but now she met his gaze willingly and even smiled at him. He realized his feelings had changed. He no longer saw their marriage as just a political arrangement, but felt a growing desire to protect her and keep her by his side. The next morning, the journey to Lahas began. As Bianca entered her carriage, she hesitated, watching Zachary converse with Vincent. She wanted to ask if he had truly ignored her wave the previous day, but let it go. Unbeknownst to her, this trip would set into motion events that would change her life forever. With the knights leading the way, Zachary rode at the front, signaling the beginning of their journey to Lahas.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the recap, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more manhwa content. See you in the next one.